This is a $100,000 TNT, and the mod claimed it was so powerful I had to teleport to one of the furthest corners of Minecraft just to test it safely. At first I thought it was broken, nothing happened. Then my minimap started disappearing, and right before I saw what it actually did, I realized this might be the most dangerous TNT in Minecraft. But before I can test that, I had to start with the cheapest TNT in the shop. I started with the $1 TNT in an amplified Minecraft world, which means these weren't normal hills. These were giant mountains reaching all the way towards the build ceiling. So for $1 I wasn't expecting much. Maybe a tiny crater, maybe a few broken blocks. If this thing could leave a mark on these mountains, I would have called it a win. And yeah, that was basically it. It exploded, broke a few blocks, and made the kind of hole you could fix with one shovel. So the $1 TNT was technically not a scam, but against an amplified mountain it looked completely useless. Still, this gave me a baseline, because now every TNT had to prove it was actually worth more than this. Next is a $10 TNT. This one already looked more promising, so I placed it next to the cliff to see if it could actually cut into the terrain. And when it exploded, it finally did some real damage. The side of the cliff got ripped open, the ground was damaged, and it actually felt like something I could use when I wanted to go carve out terrain. But at this point, the explosions were still normal, useful but normal, and I was looking for the TNTs that made Minecraft start questioning its own world generation. The $100 TNT was where I expected the video to actually begin, so I gave it a bigger test. Instead of placing it on flat ground, I put it against one of the giant amplified mountain walls. The crater was wider, the cliff face was torn open, and for the first time I had to fly up just to see the full damage. But the important part was this: the TNTs were starting to scale. Every upgrade was bigger than the last, which meant by the time I reached 100,000, I had no idea what the game was going to do with these mountains. Then I tested the $1,000 TNT. This was the first one where the minimap started becoming important, because before I even lit it, visually I could just tell the blast radius was going to be way bigger than the earlier TNTs. So I placed it at the top of the valley, backed up, lit it, and waited. This one didn't just make a crater, it changed the entire terrain. The ground was carved open, blocks were missing everywhere, and the minimap made it obvious that we had officially left normal TNT territory. At this point, I started realizing something. The cheaper TNTs were explosions, the expensive TNTs were events. The next TNT immediately looked different. Something about the name and the way it looked just gave off an absolute event. So I lit it and got as far back as I could. And frankly, going off of the minimap, this was the coolest looking TNT so far. It didn't just explode, it had style. The purple ring it made it feel like I actually activated some kind of magical nuke, and the crater it left behind was way cleaner than I expected. It cut all the way down to bedrock. This was the first TNT where I actually thought this one might be worth the money. But the next TNT wasn't trying to look cool. It wasn't trying to be the biggest, baddest of them all. It was trying to break my computer. This TNT had a suspicious name. It said it would crash my PC in 3 seconds. Not destroy a mountain. It didn't say it would destroy everything, or it was going to generate an island. Just crash my PC, which meant this was either the most powerful TNT or the dumbest scam in the shop. So obviously I had to light it. And 3 seconds later my game crashed. At first I thought it was because I detonated something crazy and insane. And I thought after logging back in a crater would be there, or some sort of clock that would crash my world every time I try to load in. But when I joined back, nothing happened. There was no blocks missing. TNT didn't destroy the world. It just kicked me out of it. So this TNT was not dangerous to Minecraft, but it was dangerous to my patience. So after this, I needed the next TNT to do something actually significant. For $10,000, I wanted a real test. So I placed it next to one of the biggest mountains I could find. Because if a TNT can delete part of a mountain that reaches the build ceiling, then it is officially dangerous. And this one finally felt expensive. The explosion ripped into the mountain, destroyed the terrain around it, and left a crater big enough that the earlier TNTs looked like fireworks. But even after that, I knew we weren't even close to the limit, because there were still TNTs above this. The minimap was about to become completely useless. Next is the $50,000 TNT. If this TNT was actually worth its price, it needed to do more than just make a crater. And then I lit it. The mountain was gone, the floor was gone, everything was gone, and I had to fly thousands of blocks away just to find the outer ring. But here's the problem. If a $50,000 TNT could do this, then what is a $100,000 TNT gonna do to the world? The final TNT didn't just say it was a big blast, it said it could delete everything in the world. So I put it up to the test. I went back to the center of the initial purple ring TNT, placed it, lit it, and the results were crazy. It wasn't pretending to be something special, it was special. I flew for thousands of blocks, TP'd for tens of thousands of blocks to try and find the edge of this explosion, because there was no way a TNT could delete the entire world. I thought it had a radius. Every other bomb had a radius, why not this one? But I probably cut out about an hour of me just going in one direction to find the outer ring, but it never appeared. The only way I could check if it actually was telling the truth then was to fly to the very outskirts of the map, which I had never done before. But turns out it's 30 million blocks out in any direction. And I checked every corner of the world, and in every corner the same thing appeared. Absolutely nothing. This truly was the strongest TNT of them all. So after testing TNTs from $1 all the way up to 100,000, here's what I learned. The $1 TNT is basically a little firework. The purple TNT looks the coolest on the minimap, but the $100,000 TNT, that one should not exist.